technologically illiterate people had to become literate because they were motivated by money. So you're motivated by a few dollars, but you're not motivated by a permanent paradise? That's ridiculous.
And you don't have that hunger anymore, and then obviously things start to fall apart.
I had the choice to make. Do you go to trial and end up getting 10 years and end up being a sex offender on a crime you didn't commit?
That was the first time like somebody told me something that like I couldn't see or touch, and I believed it.
Islam teaches you prevention and not cure. Prevention over the cure.
No, Islam is not about color. Islam is, you know, the religion is not about ethnicity, but it's also about representation. And Mufti, when you came on a scene for like, you know, boys that come from the hood, when we seen someone go to Medina and come back with that knowledge, you don't know what it did for us. Like, you know, like we was just some kids in the Bronx and we saw you, we was like we could do that. You know, it's easy sometimes, you know, like a lot of massages we go to, we come from a West African background, but a lot of them grew back home in Africa. So it's a disconnect. But to see you grow up in the same environments that you come from, like from Philly, for real, right? And we from the Bronx, for real. So even your vernacular, things that you were saying, it was like, it resonated to us. Mm-hmm. Like for kids that wanted to study like knowledge, but also come from a certain background. So for that, you are GOAT. Right. Like for us, like you Michael Jordan for us, you know what I'm saying? So just want to give you those flowers for that.
And make no mistake, yes, he's currently still stinking knowledge, but at the same time, he's like that too. He went to school with the killers.
I went to school with the what?
Google LEX massacre. That's why I could relate to Shaq. He went to school with killers. You get what I'm saying? Respectfully, all these mashaykhs and everything, we respect them and everything. I can't relate. I can relate to somebody like him. He went to school with killers. Not to praise that or anything like that, but I'm just trying to give you guys an example.
No.
And on top of that, don't let him being on the member with his sword fool y'all. He know how to use it too. That's something Philly. He not sore.
Subhanallah.
Okay, but Shaq, we want to start off with because we got so many positive feedback off the last video. That like we got over 100 comments and everything. So you mentioned that the FBI tried to hire you and everything, but some people wanted to know what's the ruling on a person of status taking on
being a rat.
Yeah, pretty much. Being a snitch.
Instead of vernacular, right?
Being a snitch.
Allahumma staan. Tayyib. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Thank you very much once again. Honestly mean that. The love, the respect, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's humbling, for real. You know, you meet different people from different backgrounds, different areas, different cities. It's a beautiful thing. And the thing that links us together, inshallah, is even more beautiful than that. You know what I mean? Like you said, you know, the religion and knowledge. And of course, there shouldn't be anything strange. There shouldn't be no apology needed. You don't need to make any type of introductions for having the ability to relate to the demographic. Demographic is extremely important. And of course, there are many Quranic verses and many hadiths, authentic hadiths in which the Prophet ﷺ speaks to the Sahaba and he talks about demographic. Quraysh. Li'ilafi Quraysh. Allah, he appeals to them. This is a messenger who came from you, from your people, from your kith, your kin. You know him, you know his background, you know his lineage, and he speaks your what? Your tongue. So that's one less excuse for you to deny, to reject, and to turn away. So think about that now. So, you know, we're going to get into that about what's the rule on being a rat? What's the rule on being a stool pigeon?
Pretty much.
You know, an informant, whatever the case may be, Allah Mustaan, singing. At the end of the day, we have to have these discussions about demographics and about supposed racism and supposed nationalism. Because many people, they get things confused. And let's be honest, let's keep it real, not to offend no one or nothing, but let's just be honest. We as a people, we're always the first to be accused of that. And we're the most welcoming people. That's reality.
That's facts.
Anybody from any country can come in, but is it the opposite? No.
Nah, it's not right.
But the moment it's some type of unity, some type of organization, some type of development, national. So that's from shaitan. All right, so let's keep it real. You see someone that if you're in a doctor's office and the doctor comes into the room looking like you, sounding like you, that's going to have a metaphysical, indirect, some subconscious effect on you.
Yes.
And the mindset and the psyche of the patient is just as important as the physical matter.
No.
Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, once, he was ill and the physician went to him and, he diagnosed him or whatever. And he said, you're reading too much. You're spending too much time reading, dim lights, the candles, whatever. You got to take it easy on yourself. So Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, may Allah have mercy on him, he says, don't you doctors say that the happiness and like the vibe, the chi, the energy of the patient has an effect upon the physical healing? Don't you believe that? And the doctor said, yes. He says, so that's what makes me happy. So how can you tell me to stop reading? So the moral of the story is seeing someone as a role model. This dude is similar to me, comes from this place, not with a silver spoon. That's going to have tremendous impact. And that is why there are going to be many shayateen who are going to try to get rid of that. Because they don't want to see the light spread. They don't want to keep people down and out under the excuse of, oh, you're being a racist, you're being a nationalist. But people from Pakistan, from India, from Saudi, from Kuwait, from Yemen, all of them, they can take pride in their heritage, their lineage, no issue with that. But the moment, so we're not with that, we don't believe in that. And Islamically, that's falsehood. That's first and foremost. All right, tight. Let's move forward. As far as, what's the rule on being an informant, for the authorities, spying on the Muslims, recording the Muslims, and then reporting back to those people for whatever reason or supposed justification, then that's pretty clear. You get what I'm trying to say?
No.
Because it's just a basic rule. You lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. That's a rule of life. No matter how hard you try to shake them off, no matter how hard you try to sleep on the other side of the bed, no matter how hard you try to, put a flea collar around the dog, you're going to get bitten with fleas.
No.
So they're going to start you off with, what you're trying to prevent and protect, terrorism or an extremist, radicalizing, etc. That okay, yeah, that makes sense. Islam is against this. We're not against that. This is impermissible. No problem. And then they bait you in, and the next thing you know, we need you to lie, and we need you to be deceitful. And we need you to do this. We need you to set up this one. What you gonna do? Tell them no after they gave you all of those checks?
Yeah.
All of those Umrah trips, all of those Hajj trips that they paid for. Yeah, you've been on a payroll. You get what I'm trying to say? And the Arabs, they have a proverb that says either akalatul butun istahyatul uyun. They say when the bellies eat, eyes are shy. When bellies are fed, eyes shy. So your belly is full. You're getting all that government money, just doing stuff that's not impermissible, for argument's sake. I just prayed Jumu'ah, and I told them how many Muslims are in the masjid. There's 200 people there. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? But then the more they feed you, and then all right, we need you to do this now. You see this guy, Ali Faisal, we need you to, we got some issues with him. We need you to put this in his bag before he goes to the airport. We need you to send him this message. We need you to record this conversation that he doesn't know about. What you gonna say? You gonna say, no, I can't? That's dishonorable? That's against my religion? The first thing they're gonna bring up is, well, I thought we were friends.
I fed you.
That's gonna come later. That's gonna come. The fangs don't come out until the last second. Don't forget that. That's a rule. The fangs only come out as a necessity, but they're gonna keep the fangs concealed for as long as possible. I thought we were friends. I thought you were good. I thought we were, against such and such. Oh yeah, I'm having second thoughts. Oh man, I'm disappointed, man. I thought you were different. I thought we were in this together to keep America safe. I thought. They're gonna try to guilt shame you. And then if you stand firm and they need what they need from you, then comes, well, what about such and such? And then now you're gonna be scandalized. We can set you up now. We got everything on paper, but you have nothing on paper. And that's a rule of any informant, of any organization. The first rule is they never directly pay you. There's always a proxy that comes to you with the envelope. Don't ever forget that. No. There's no receipt that you're going to get from them. But on their tab, they have what?
They have all the receipts.
Every check that they gave you. But you have what?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing. You have no proof that you were working for them, being paid by them. All right? Number two is that they're going to make sure that you can't, similar to the first point, you can't trace back anything. So that money that you took, you owe us. Because we didn't just force you into it, nor did we just compensated you, but we made you eat good. So now you can't prove that you took anything from us under contract, And number two, we now have direct access to set you up. So looking at it from this point of view, what's the ruling on being an informant for non-Muslims against Muslims? For argument's sake, it's permissible in the beginning, for argument's sake.
Yeah.
But know for sure they're going to force you to sell your deen and to sell what remains of your honor. So there lies no doubt about the ruling of that.
No.
There lies no doubt about that.
it's clear as day.
And what it's going to lead to,
No.
let alone from the beginning. You get the point I'm trying to make? So that's evil. And, you know, I would never, ever condone that. I would never allow that. I would never say that's permissible. I don't see any excuse or any justification for it. And all of these different wars and these different genocides, how these people were conquered, how these people were vanquished, because they always had inside help. Any war, any conquest, any human atrocity, you're going to find that they had scouts, that they had inside translators, that they had informants. How the heck did they conquer this whole country? How did they capture all these people, sell them into slavery? Because they had what?
Informants.
They had people on the inside. So you're responsible for all of that blood, all of those Muslims dying. You're responsible for all of that disrespect and desecration of those holy sites. You have a part of that as being a translator for their army, whether you realize it or not, being an informant for those people. And know for sure they're going to discard you whenever it's convenient.
And that's for every government. Right now,
Period.
we're talking about the FBI.
Any organization.
This for any
Any
organization.
organization. Of course, there are levels. It's like levels of kufr. There are levels of the hellfire.
Right.
Okay, there are levels of nifaq. You get what I'm trying to say? So some regimes are worse than others. Some are better than others. Some have more slime, less slime than others. But at the end of the day, you're getting an envelope from an anonymous person that you cannot trace. But they can what? Trace you.
Trace you.
Easily. You know where they live?
Nah.
You getting called on this type of number, meet here, this and that. They got everything on their advantage. The moment that it's convenient, they will throw you under the bus and discard you, literally. And that history has taught us how many times?
Multiple times.
Collaborators always end up like those whom they collaborated against from their own people.
With the Garvey movement, with the Nation of Islam, with the Black Panthers.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely.
There's always going to be some type of inside.
That's absolutely, and that's the reward of that evil. And Allah tells us about the reward of a sayyah versus the reward of a hasana. The good deed is always going to come back good, positive, and the evil vice is always going to come back to haunt you and to bite you sooner or later.